Hey Carmen, Matthew here with freeprescriptionlenses.com, and with the help of my GoPro camera, I'm going to show you how I cut prescription transition lenses for your Rayban 5206 color 2445, which is the tortoise and the green in the 52 eye size. Let me take everything out of the original packaging that Rayban sends it to me. Of course, your Rayban frame, your Rayban cleaning cloth, which was upside down. I'm going to tuck that in the right back side up. And it comes with a little plastic sleeve on the left temple to protect the temples from rubbing together while it's being shipped from overseas. And of course, you're going to get all of this, including the, look at this, I'm trashing the place, but including your original demo lenses, one of which it says Rayban. But again, this is the tortoise green. When you hold it to the light, you can see the green crystal along the back edge of the frame and lining the inside. And of course, again, the Rayban 5206 color 2445 in the 52 eye size. So let us begin. The little silver platinum Rayban emblem there. But let us begin. I'm going to pop out the original demo lenses. And again, you're going to receive all of this. And I'm going to take your frame, put it into my edger, and hit that button. And this little stylus is going to pop up, and it's going to trace the shape of the right lens before moving over and tracing the shape of the left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed with quality. You buy a genuine, authentic Rayban frame, and you will receive one free pair of clear single vision prescription lenses or non-prescription fashion lenses. If you have vision insurance or flex dollars, my receipt has my federal ID number, so you'll be reimbursed for this purchase, whether these are prescription or not. If you're 20/20 and you have vision insurance, but you want a nice pair of geek chic glasses, come on and talk to me. I'm gonna make you something. So that is the shape of your lens. Magnify that little green diagram as I hold up there. That is the actual size of your lens. Let me go ahead and magnify real quick. Let's go ahead and enter your pupillary distance for the right eye, which is 32. My computer already starts at 32.5, so I'm going to back it down one step to 32. Now let's go down here and get your lenses prepped. Let me turn on my Marco 101 lensometer. Your right eye reads, this is the right eye, +1 1/4 -1 at 2, +1 1/4 -1 at 2. I'm going to put the axis wheel just past 0 onto 2. Let me zero everything out. That's good. I'm going to put the power drum on +1 1/4, +1 1/4. Now, this is your right lens. Let me go ahead and label that one. There's two ways to write a prescription, in plus cylinder or minus cylinder. So I have it there in minus. The plus is on top. This is your right lens. This, let me just double check, +1 1/4 -75 is your left lens. And again, you're going to receive all the manufacturer's original packets to verify that you are getting the Essilor brand Transition 7 series lenses. But let me take your right lens out of the protective sleeve. It comes with a little laminate over the front of the lens to protect the lens from anything rubbing on it during shipping also. And I'm going to put it in there, find the optical center of your lens, rotate it until the sphere power comes in clearly. Find the optical center, check the astigmatism correction real quick. Oh, we're good there. And I'll explain all that in a little bit. And I'm going to put 3 dots on your lenses, which are hard for you to see. So I'm going to darken those. 1, 2, 3. And that is the right lens. Now let's do the same thing for the left. Take it out of the protective sleeve. Take the laminate off. Spin the axis wheel to 166 because your prescription reads +1 1/4 -75 at 166. +1 1/4 -75 at 166. Put the lens in, rotate it until the sphere power comes in clearly. Find the optical center of the lens, check your astigmatism correction, and put 3 dots on there. Sanko. This is, we're going to mark this one L for not right. Just like me, I ain't right either. So let's come down here. Whoa, don't go anywhere, packet. Put your lens on the little platform. Now, this is a block, as I like to call him, Jenny from the block. I need to attach this to your lens. Now, I need to use a piece of bubble gum to do that, but I don't have bubble gum, so I'm going to have to use a double-sided adhesive sticker, of which I've got, I think I've got 2 on here. Yeah, I can spare these 2. Now, the black side is the sticky side. So I'm going to stick that onto the first block. You see how I do that? Come in from far away. Notice that technique. Now the little silver button on the back is a magnet. It's going to do its job twice. The first job, let me pull the paper off to show you, the black side is the sticky side. That magnet is going to correspond with something magnetical in there, and it's going to hold its place. Now the reason why I put those red dots on your lenses is it's pretty. No, because your lenses have to go in there a certain way because of your astigmatism. What? You have astigmatism? Why didn't you tell me? No. But they have to go in there perfectly. It can't be off axis, as we call it. So those red dots show up here. They're kind of faint. Hopefully you can see them. 1, 2, 8. But those are the 3 dots. Now that blue cross is the geometric center of your frame. If you were to measure vertically and horizontally, that blue cross would be right there, right where it's supposed to be, where your eye is just inset from there, right at these crosshairs. So I'm going to put that dot in the center. Those other 2 dots line up on the graph to tell me it's oriented in there just perfectly. Hang on, I moved my finger and it moved. It was stuck to my finger. There we go. Hit the button, and now the right lens is blocked, as we call it. There's a block on it. And we do the same thing now for the unright lens. Peel the paperweight and make the black side sticky. Correspond that magnet to its relative there. And your pupillary distance for your left eye, 33. It mirrored the right. It automatically mirrors the right, so I need to change that by hitting this plus button twice. It double jumped to 33, but that's where I needed to be at. So I'm going to get everything lined up just there perfectly. Try and get it lined up perfectly. You won't know if I miss. Actually, you will know when you put them on. You're just not going to see as well. So let me hit the button. And now the block is applied to the unright lens. Now this is the edger. This is what costs $40,000. It weighs 200 pounds. I tell everybody to go out and buy one. Put it on your kitchen counter. Then you can cut your own lenses at home. You ain't gonna need me no more. The actual cutting wheel is over here on the far right. It's going to act like a heavy grit sandpaper to grind away your lens material until it's the final size. This wheel in the center is what's going to put the bevel onto the lens inside that channel, inside that little valley, so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. This is a polishing wheel, which I use for drill mount frames, since I won't be polishing your lenses. Now the magnet's going to do its job twice. It's going to correspond to the little chuck, or as I like to call it, the Charles, because I don't know the machine well enough to call it chuck. I'm going to pull up the shape of your lens onto the computer. These are polycarbonate lenses, so I'm going to keep it on the PC emblem. I am going to cut it on the soft cycle because it is polycarbonate. I do not want to polish the lens. I do not want to put a bevel on the front of the lens. I only want to put a bevel on the rear surface. I'm going to hit the green button, which is start in every language. The door closes, the clamp shuts, and then the lens is going to be traced by 2 white styluses, making sure the lens is large enough to fit into the frame. It's going to go around. You can see the shape of your lens as it transfers. And of course it's going to do it twice, measuring the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly and precisely where to place the bevel so you have the least amount of edge thickness. Now with your prescription you won't have any edge thickness, but I do deal with some high prescriptions all day long. Now if you notice, there's water running in the background, but that's just to collect optical sawdust as it comes off the cutting wheel. Polycarbonate lenses cut dry, where plastic and high index plastic cut wet. Now in just a moment you'll hear a grinding sound. That's my teeth. I've had too much coffee today. And then that sound is your lens grinding against the cutting wheel. Now your lenses are made out of polycarbonate. These are Essilor brand lenses. Essilor calls polycarbonate airwear because they're as light as air. The TR stands for transitions. The Roman numerals VII or V11 is just 7. GY is gray. So these are the polycarbonate transition 7 gray lenses. The other nice thing about your lens is the AS stands for aspheric. Aspheric simply means not round. A spherical lens is completely round in every direction. It gives you an ugly cosmetic fishbowl appearance. So if you notice, your lens was flat, now it's getting the V-shaped bevel put on there. But an aspheric lens is much flatter. So your lenses are polycarb. Polycarb is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. They are virtually unbreakable. Your lenses are bulletproof, up to 22 caliber, and have both UVA and UVB protection built into it. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin, so you have permanent sun screen for your eyes that never needs to be reapplied, unlike the lotions, creams, and sprays that need to be reapplied when you're in direct, intense exposure to the sun. Now that little arm that moved out has a little wheel on the end, something you would find on a Dremel tool. That's applying what's known as the safety bevel to the rear surface, the concave surface of the lens, just to smooth everything out. Now in just a moment, I will open the door with my mind. You ready? Let me focus, concentrate. Vroom, vroom, vroom. You like that, did you? Let me hit that button, that'll open up the chuck. I can do other things with my mind. I can melt ice with my mind. I can. It just takes me a couple hours, but I can do it. Alright, so I'm going to take my thumbnail, I'm going to use it to scrape all of this off. And I'm going to see if your lens will fit first time around. I'm going to take your frame, I'm going to tuck the lens in at the outside corner using my thumbs. I press down at the nose and it fits. So let's go ahead and do the same thing now for the left lens. Flip that over to L, and then again let the magnet line up with the chuck. Thanks, Chuck. And hit the green start button. The door closes, the clamp shuts, and then the 2 white styluses are going to trace the shape of the left side of the frame to make sure this lens is large enough. And of course it's going all the way around, and as always it does it twice to measure the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly where to place the bevel so it fits into the frame the best and you have no edge thickness whatsoever. I have a thick tongue, I can't talk, but you have no edge thickness. So this block is no longer needed. I'm going to go ahead, and when the left lens begins cutting, I'm going to keep working on the right, but I'm going to pop that off, pull the sticker off, and you can barely see. Do I have another red pen? I do. Let me darken that red dot so you can follow it home with me. Let's come down here and let's keep working on your right lens. We're going to inspect it. We're going to turn the axis wheel back to 2 because your prescription reads +1 1/4 -1 at 02. I'm going to put it in, move it up so it's sitting in front of that red dot, read the power off the lens, and I am getting +1 1/4, 0, 1/4, 50, 75, 1, 1 1/4. I'm going to check your astigmatism correction, of which you have 1 diopter of, and I end up with +1/4, 1 tick mark away from that 0. The reason why I get there is the unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R, and it starts at 0 and goes up from there, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, 1 1/4, and so on. So you need 5 steps of correction for your farsightedness. You are nearsighted. Without your glasses on, you see great up close, but you need to see them from far away. So you need 5 steps of magnification. That's why there is a plus sign. You actually need magnification. Without your glasses on, everything is much too close, up close, even though you can see pretty well far away. Now, you have 4 steps of astigmatism correction. Now, there is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It just means shape. It's like saying someone has straight hair, someone else has curly hair. That is it. It is not a disease. It is not an affliction. You don't freak out when you hear that someone has straight hair or curly hair. Well, that's it. This first number makes everything the right size. Astigmatism is what makes 6s and 8s look alike, or the letters P and F. So that's why they it's the fine tune knob, and we're going to turn that knob to 2. A straight line is 0 to 180, with 90 being in the center and 180 over here. We're going to turn it to 2. We're just barely going to turn that knob to 2. Now for your right eye, that's that. For your left eye, same correction, 5 steps for your nearsightedness, and farsightedness, and 3 steps of astigmatism correction. And we're going to turn that fine tune knob to 166, which we're going to pass the 90 and go over here. Now you think these first 2 numbers are real values to be concerned with. This last number can be anywhere from 0 to 180, and 2 and 166 you think are very far apart, but they're not. If you think of a straight line being 0 over here, 180 over here, you are 2 degrees away from the 180 line here. You are 14 degrees away from the 180 line on this side. So you're just above that 180 line on both sides. Even though these are obscure numbers, it's still very close to the 180 meridian. Now, let's go ahead and see if your left lens fits. Let me take it out of the Chuck, out of the Charles, the Charlie, the Chucky baby. And we're going to dry everything off. Ooh, I still got a little optical sawdust here. This is called Schwarf. You see that on my thumbnail? Oops. Let me collect it here. I'm going to get it all off of your lens. I'm going to use my thumbnail to scrape it off your lens. And I'm going to collect it neatly into one pile. And very carefully and very neatly, I'm going to wipe it on the floor. Because I love doing that. That never gets old. That never gets old. So let's take your left lens. Let's see if it fits into the left side of the frame. I have turned the frame around. I'm not working on this side. I have the empty side closest to me. So I'm going to tuck it in here. Using my thumbs, I press down. Oh, it wants to fight me. So I'm going to take it down 1/10 of a millimeter more. Where's my little stylus? Here it is. I need to use my stylus. 1, 2. 1/10 of a millimeter. Hit the retouch button. Now, a millimeter, to all my American friends who have no clue what a millimeter is, it is the distance between my thumbnails. I'm going to take one distance off, 1/10 of a millimeter off around the circumference of the lens. 1/10 of one of these until it easily snaps in there. I apologize, this is taking an extra minute, but if I were to force the lens in there, it would stretch the frame or cause it to roll. If you imagine your frame being like a gutter, because that's what it is, it has a little ridge, but if the lens were in there, it would force the frame to roll outwards at the bottom. Not only would it shorten the life of the frame, but also gives you a very ugly cosmetic look. And because I am a perfectionist, except I lost my flashlight, there it is, I am a perfectionist, I cut every pair of lenses that get shipped worldwide. I'm going to make sure that every lens is perfect before I ship it to you. Again, I will open the door with my mind. No, 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 no. You like that, did you? I went to school for years to learn how to do this. Don't try that at home. Okay, so I'm going to dry the lens off again, see if there's any Schwarf. Nah, not this time. Bummer. Alright, so now I'm going to take the left side of your frame, tuck the left lens. Oop, there's a little piece at the bottom. There's a little piece. A little giblet. Okay. Giblet, not a giblet. It could be a giblet. If you've had enough to drink, it might be. Alright, so I'm going to tuck it in at the outside corner using my thumbs, press down. Now it snaps in. Let's go ahead and take the block off, like opening a bottle of champagne. There we go. Pull the sticker off. Look, you got the red dot right there in the center. Pull that sticker off. Let's come back down here. Find your prescription. Plus 1 1/4 minus 75 at 166. Let's spin that axis wheel to 166. Put the lens in. And I am getting plus 1 1/4. We're in the black. Red is minus, black is positive. See, we were at 1 1/4. Let me just double check. I'm looking for 3 skinny white lines. So that's 1 1/4. We're going to check your astigmatism correction, which you have 3 steps. And we're going to end up at plus 50. Remember high school algebra where you had to add the unlike signs or subtract unlike signs? I started with 1 1/4, subtracted 75, and that's where we ended up with 50. So, but using today's terms, if you had $1.25 and someone borrowed 75 cents, you would end up with 50 cents, and that's where we're at. So that is made perfectly. Now your pupillary distance, 32 for the right eye, 33 for the left. I'm going to turn my card around, put the 0 against my thumb on the right lens. And then when we hold it up on the left lens, we're seeing 65 millimeters, exactly halfway between 60 and 70. So that is made correctly. And the other thing I do at this point in every video is I clean your lenses. Or, you know, it's also free for me to leave those dots on there, you tell me. But when I ship these to you, and of course it's free shipping anywhere in the United States, but when you get these in the mail, there is a very small chance that one side is going to, that it's going to fit loose or it's going to fit tight. However, there is an 80% chance, a very probable chance, that one side is going to sit higher than the other. That is because 80% of people have one ear that is higher than the other, and because of that, 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them. But I'm going to get them in standard alignment first, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I'll set these down on the counter and press down. There is no wobble. When I say wobble, I'm part of that 80%. When I take mine off and press on the counter, they wobble. And for those of you keeping score at home, I am sporting my new pair of Versace 31.99 in color, I have no clue because I can't see with my glasses off. I think it's 5118. Yeah, that's it, 5118, which is the dark blue, and Havana, which is a sporting word for tortoise. But flip that over, press down, there is no wobble. Close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly, and they do, and they're not askew in any way. Check the tension on each spring hinge. That is good. So this is what your lenses look like clear. I'm going to go ahead and activate them, which is a fancy word for expose them to a strong burst of ultraviolet light. I'm going to put them in my little transitions box back here in the corner. My box has been bad, so I stuck it in the corner. But as you will see, it takes about 30 to 45 seconds for all transition lenses to darken. It takes a little bit longer when you come back inside. It takes 45 seconds to a minute 15 to return back to virtually clear. Now Carmen, this is important, pay attention. All transition lenses will get dark on day one. Give them 2 weeks of exposure to the sun, and they're going to continue to darken every day for the first 2 weeks until they get to their final setting. After that, they will work for years with maximum performance. The only time they won't work is if you're inside of a car. A traditional windshield absorbs all the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays so your dashboard doesn't crack from sitting in the sun all day. That's why they don't turn dark in a car. Now if you have a convertible or a motorcycle, they will darken. Or as soon as you get out of the car, they will darken. They're also temperature sensitive, meaning that when it's 85 or 90 degrees and below, they'll get darker than they will when it's over 100 degrees. I remind everyone, when it's 100 degrees outside, you're miserable, they're miserable. No one likes to work 100% when it's in the triple digits. So that's what your lenses look like the first time they've been activated. Carmen, don't worry, they're going to keep getting darker. Come on, don't you remember we talked about that, Carmen? So that's that. If anyone has any questions about what I can or can't do, just email me at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com. Carmen, I hope you enjoyed watching as I cut prescription transition lenses for your Rayban 5206, color 2445 in the 52 eye size. And everyone else has got a chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.